Hello everybody, welcome to ScottyDGaming. I'm Scotty D and today I'm going to be playing Vegas Tales. Now it's a FMV, interactive, choice-based story. I don't know what type of story it is because basically the theme is you need to pick a new owner for a casino in Vegas and you've got to pick the next successor. So I think this will be a laugh because we'll get to vet everyone, and I'm pretty good at vetting people. We'll sort the wheat from the chaff. Let's go.
Thank you for meeting with me. If this is your first visit to the Bellflower Casino Resort, I hope you're finding it a pleasant one. I've owned this place for over 30 years. Running the Bellflower has been my life's work. A life which is almost over. I have terminal cancer, and I've been fighting it for years, but my time is coming to an end. I've already come to terms with my condition, but it leaves me with a problem. I never found time to start a family, and I don't have any close friends.
What a life.
This hotel is all I have to leave to this world. It's my legacy, but I have no one to carry on that legacy once I'm gone. I need you to help me decide on the best person to inherit the Bellflower. I've made a list of 4 candidates, each of whom has a strong connection to this hotel. Unfortunately, I don't know any of them very well. I've invited them all here for the weekend under the guise that you want to do an interview with them for a book that you're writing about the hotel. Now, they're being paid a healthy stipend for their time, so you'll likely find them willing to answer any questions you may have. I want you to learn everything you can about them and report back to me if you discover anything relevant. Their names are Ashley, Mallory, Sarah, and the last one is a couple of newlyweds named Todd and Becca.
It's funny how they're all women. Right, okay. This guy's giving his hotel away to someone he doesn't even know. But I suppose if you've got no mates, then and you've got no family, then that's all you can do, couldn't it? I didn't know why he doesn't just sell up. I suppose he wants the legacy, doesn't he? Right, tell you what. We'll just start from the top to the bottom. Tell me about Ashley.
Ashley is a magician.
Oh, very good.
She's been holding her magic show here at the Bellflower since we added a theater during our last renovation. She's been here longer than any employee, and she's as financially tied to this place as anybody, aside from myself. She's a private person, so I don't know much about her personal life.
I bet you she'll magician all of his money away, so I already don't like her. Right, who's next? Mallory. When do we get to see them?
Mallory is the unluckiest person I've ever met. She's also one of the nicest. I've never seen so much tragedy befall such an undeserving person. I unfairly gave her a hard time when we first met, but we get along well now. I gave her a complimentary stay here at the hotel to apologize, and she wouldn't stop talking about how much she loved it here. I think she might even like my hotel more than I do. Like the others on my list, I don't know very much about her.
I'm not sure we should give it to her, because nobody loves a sub-story. I hate them.
Sarah is the daughter of the Goodley family. She's been staying here with her parents on family vacations for years. That family is so wholesome that they make the Brady Bunch seem edgy.
I don't like them either.
They're a welcome breath of fresh air here in Las Vegas, and I love the idea of someone with very strong moral values like Sarah taking over the hotel.
Okay. Right, so what about the newlyweds? I don't trust these guys either.
I barely know anything about those two. Their names are Becca and Todd. I met them today when they were checking in.
Would you ever give your hotel to someone called Todd?
Vegas to get married,
don't think so.
This trip is also doubling as their honeymoon. Yeah, I know it must seem odd to consider leaving my estate to a couple I barely know, but honestly, I barely know any of the people I'm considering. I figure that if they're staying here for their wedding and their honeymoon, then they're going to have a very strong emotional connection to the Bellflower Hotel. Plus, it almost seems like fate that they happened to check in today while I'm trying to make this decision.
What the
Counting
hell?
on you to ascertain whether or not they're good people worthy of consideration as heirs.
Are you kidding me? So two randoms have just checked his hotel and he's like, I'll give the whole thing to To them? No, no thanks. You should definitely speak to somebody else. Just give it to me. I'll sort you right out. Alright, wait, this. What am I doing? Oh, so that's Ashley. She's the magician. Mallory's the one that tragedy befalls her all the time. Sarah Goodley. I imagine that's the one in the middle. She's the one with the righteous values. I don't trust the dad. Look at the dad. He's got skeletons under his closet. Under his closet, see. Not even in his closet. Oh, fuck these guys. Look at the state of these. Right, tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to speak to Ashley. Tell me about yourself. Oh, I just never trust the... Yeah, I don't trust her either.
I'm Ashley. I live here in Las Vegas. I spend most of my time practicing magic, and I am single.
Oh, no
What
surprises.
else do you want to know?
Fucking hell, this bitch. Why are you single? Is it because of your attitude?
I'm not great at dating. It's probably because I really don't enjoy getting to know people. That's why I think that dinner and a movie is the perfect first date. You have just enough time to exchange facts about each other, and then the food comes, and you can't talk because your mouth is full. Then you go sit in a dark movie theater, where talking is frowned on, and you watch a movie. It's great, especially if you're with one of those people who insists on talking all the time. I'm great at breakups, though. Yeah, not very good at dating. I've tried dating apps, but I haven't found any that I really like.
My opinion on her has just done a complete 180. I actually really like her now. What she values and my sentiments exactly. Right, okay, so... Tell me about magic. I like her. I actually do like her.
When you're part of a magic show, you spend countless hours practicing. We only perform 4 nights a week, so it would seem like it's an easy schedule, but we spend maybe another 30 hours practicing. More if you're bringing someone new into the show. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Alright, so... I want to ask her about insist on talking. I want to see what she says.
There are people who talk all the time, even when they have nothing to say. If you have nothing to say besides hello or hi, why talk? I really don't enjoy misguided politeness.
What a legend. I agree. Is there anything worse than small talk?
It's like when someone tries to do something nice, but it has the opposite effect. Like you're walking towards a door, and you're too far away, but someone decides to hold it open for you anyway. So then you have to rush to get through the door so they don't awkwardly stand there holding it. Do you know what's easier than rushing through a parking lot to get through a door? Opening it yourself when you're there.
Yeah, wow. She's awesome. A good job she's single because she's my type of girl. That is hilarious. It is true there. Like I used to hold doors open for people, and then I realized just everybody's just a cunt, and I don't even attempt. It doesn't even cross my mind now. If I go through a door, I just go through it. Yeah. And if anybody holds a door open for me as well, I kind of just don't even acknowledge them. Unless, of course, it's like they've held it open for me like immediately before me, and then of course you'd say thanks. But if someone's holding it open, I just ignore them because I'm not rushing. I go my own pace, baby. Dating apps.
I don't particularly like any of the dating apps out there right now. They're all designed to let you chat with the person before you meet them. If you chat with the person before you meet them, then you find out how horrible they are and you don't want to meet them. Then you don't even get the social rewards of having gone on a date. You know what I want? I want a dating app where you don't ever have to go on a date. Where when you match with a likely candidate, the app takes the photos that you've each submitted and places them in a likely dating scenario. Then it returns the photo to you. You can put that photo on your social media platforms, and it looks like you've been on a date. And you've never had to go on a date. Everybody
What a
wins.
banger. That is hilarious. Hey, she could be onto something there, like. That's her next business adventure, dating that way you don't have to go on a date and it creates mock-up photos.
The problem most people make when they're breaking up with someone is that they try to be too nice. And that's very selfish. Not the good kind of selfishness either. When you're too nice with someone and you're breaking up with them, it makes them sad. It makes them wish that you weren't leaving. It makes them think that maybe they should stay with you. When you're breaking up with someone, it is the one time of your life that you should be a complete asshole so that they actually feel relieved. They feel like a burden has been lifted. Yeah, you should always be an asshole when you're breaking up with someone. That's why I'm very good at it.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that is the most ridiculous thing. Like, the direction of her logic is true. Like, oh, it's easier to think, oh, I'm glad this arsehole's breaking up with me and not right. But that's just putting like so much more emotional pressure on someone. If that's been a complete 180 of what your personality would normally be, it'd make you think like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? So yeah, she's wrong there. Like, good selfishness.
Everyone talks about selfishness like it's some sort of sin.
Yeah, it's not.
Selfishness is necessary. Everyone wants good-paying jobs. Want them to be in our country and not another country. That's selfish. Everyone wants those good-paying jobs to be in our city, not another city. That's selfish. I want those good-paying jobs to be mine, not someone else's. That's selfish. Selfishness is necessary for us to survive.
Like, the thing is though, she's just tapped, isn't she? You can just tell she's not. What's the word I'm looking for? She's not 100% of sound mind, is she? She's a bit mental.
I've been performing my magic act here since the last time it was renovated. Huh. Never heard of the place before that. I like it here. I like Mr. Davenport, too. He's very hands-off. I appreciate the fact that he doesn't try to give me input about my show.
Then again, Mr. Davenport, that's the guy in it that's handing over the hotel. She's probably got a lot of things in common with Mr. Davenport because he seems to be quite a private person as well, and so is she. She would probably, if she was to manage the hotel, would probably run it the same way. But she doesn't like interacting with people either. Although I think it's two different types of, what's the word I'm looking for? Different types of isolationism. Is that I think Mr. Davenport's like isolated because he's not really good at social interactions, whereas I think she's isolated because she wants to be.
I haven't really talked to him that much. We talked a little bit when this place was being renovated. My magic act was becoming popular and I was looking for a place to take up residency, and he was looking for an act to host in his arena. It worked out great. We've really only spoken a few times since then, usually about business. I guess you could say he's one of my best friends.
Oh, bless. I want to follow that line of inquiry. Best friends, go on, tell me more. So she's never spoke to her much. Do you know what? These two people have got some, like, everything in common. She's talked to him a handful of times and he's spoke to her a handful of times. He's going to give her the chance of fucking taking ownership of the hotel, and she considers him one of her best friends, even though, like, you would never consider someone like that your best friend that you, like, spoke to 5 times.
I don't like interacting with people unless there's a purpose. I would say I'm a people person, but I grow weary of them quickly if they overstay their welcome or talk. I prefer quiet types who show who they are by their actions. You know, a lot of people will have shallow, fake friends who will tell you all about their day, but they'll never lift a finger if you need to move or get rid of a body. I really don't like people like that.
I know, when you haven't got people to get rid of a body for you, they're not really friends, are they?
I've never had to get rid of a body.
Not
But
yet.
if I did, I wouldn't be stupid. about it. You know, everybody just tries to bury the body or throw it in a river with something heavy on it, trying to keep the cops from finding it. The cops are going to find the body. But if I was going to get rid of the body, I would throw it in the river with a bungee cord harness attached to it, and then I wouldn't attach the other end to anything. So when the cops found the body, as they're going to, they wouldn't assume it was murder. They would just assume it was someone stupid who deserved to die. I mean, people win Darwin Awards every day. Why not take advantage of it?
What a banger. She's actually got a point there. That's hilarious. Right, I want to know about her magic.
Oh, it's understandable if you didn't know that I had my own magic act. I'm not on any of the posters. I used to be. But I learned early on that audiences expect a magician to be male. So I hired a male presenting actor as the magician. I started working as the assistant. But ticket sales, foomp, shot way up.
So she is quite, she's quite business savvy then. Because if she realised that that was the way to increase sales and increase her market value, or her show's market value, then she did the right thing. So yeah, okay, she's winning me over slowly but surely.
Oh, we promote it like it's his show, but he's essentially worthless. He doesn't do much of anything. I've actually replaced the actor that's played the magician 3 times. Audiences never noticed. They're fine as long as there's someone on stage who looks like they expect a magician to look. Usually with a goatee. For some reason, a goatee is mandatory.
So tell me about the assistant, which is you.
I'm not mad about it. My act has actually gotten a lot easier since I started working as an assistant and not the magician. I'll let you in on a little secret. The assistants are actually the ones who perform all the tricks in a magic act. The magician really is just there so that people have something to keep their eyes on. They're going to watch him, see if they can figure out the trick, see if he's doing anything sneaky. Everyone really just ignores the girls in the shiny outfits. But we're the ones making the tricks work. Now, magic is all about misdirection. The magician is the biggest misdirection of all.
Yeah, I wonder if she's misdirecting me. Playing a trick on me, voodoo bitch.
You can get away with anything as long as someone's attention is focused on something else. That's the key to all of magic, half of life. Everyone knows it. Nobody cares. Back when I really was an assistant, I worked for a magician, the great Zambini. He based his signature trick on this very thing. See, we were part of a traveling carnival, and our stage was outdoors. At the beginning of the night, the back of the stage, a Zamboni was parked. It was the Zambini Zamboni. And he would tell the audience that at some point during the evening, he was going to make the Zamboni disappear and no one would notice. So about halfway through the evening, we would have this assistant come out that the audience had not yet seen. Her name was Kelly. She was particularly alluring. And the other assistants and I would help her up on top of a platform, and we would begin tying her up with scarves. We'd really take our time about it, make it very erotic, and Kelly would wiggle and pout and make these cute little squeaky gerbil noises. While this was happening, Zambini would pull out his keys and drive the Zamboni off stage. Then he'd run back. We would make Kelly disappear in a fairly standard trick, and when it was done, Zambini would be standing where the Zamboni was with his arms outstretched, like he had just accomplished the most amazing feat in the world. And the audience loved it. They would clap like it was the best thing ever. It was grotesquely sexist, but it worked.
True. Well, Kelly.
I haven't talked to her since we worked together. I'm sure she's doing fine. Supremely attractive people have it very easy. I'm sure she married rich or got kidnapped by human traffickers and sold on the black market. Either way, she's living in a big house with someone else paying all the bills.
Oh, fair. That is great. Thing is, though, like she's actually pretty attractive. Like you can tell, like she's a bit older now, right? But she's still like an attractive woman. You know what I mean? Actually, I think she is quite old. Like, not. How old do you think she is? I'd say she's in her 50s. Like, mainly because of this. No, like the neck thing. The neck is a dead giveaway. But yeah, she's incredibly attractive. Right, so I like how everything she says is always like she's got like some point, and then it always goes down like some dark and twisted place about like black markets. Oh, that's great. I want to know more about this black market.
You can buy anything if you know where to look. I used to
Yeah.
buy weed on the dark web before it was legal. I know there are people who buy fake IDs on the internet. Anything. You can find it.
Also, as well, how you can tell, like, I don't know if it happens to all older people, but in the eyes, like, the older you get, like, the more dead your eyes become because of the fucking tragedies you've seen in life. That's just what happens, son. Right, so we don't have to, I've just realised we can ask this if we want. Or we can just go and talk to random people. Tell you what, let's speak about weed. I hope she hadn't got an addiction because she's just going to create a weed empire.
Oh, I know weed is legal now, but back before it was, everybody would smoke it anyway. You know, it was just one of those crimes you never got in trouble for. Like speeding or practicing medicine without a license.
What a banger.
The sale of human organs is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And who do you think is taking those organs out of the people who lose them and putting them into the people who need them? I doubt it's someone practicing with a license. But I'm not doing it. I am not involved in that industry. I dabble in taxidermy, but I am not skilled enough to take a kidney out of someone and put it in someone else.
Not
and
yet.
have one of them live.
But how could that be true though? Because you see, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I suppose if you're rich enough, you could have people harvested. Right. Tell me more about the carnival, and then we'll move on to someone
When
else.
you're starting out in this industry, you will take anything you can get. It was rough. I was on the road for 6 months. Before that, I was an assistant to a comedy magician. That was even worse. I'd still take that over any normal job. Oh, comedy magicians. Awful. None of it's real magic. It's all just jokes. I don't have any jokes in my act. Well, I have one, but I don't do it every night. I just save it for when I have a heckler.
What is it? Well, tell us what it is.
The fact that hecklers are still a thing is proof that society is a failure. I don't know why we still allow them to exist.
We just assassinate
I have
them.
a good way of dealing with them, though. Whenever we get a heckler that's too bad, it's really bad, I motion to the other assistants, and they notify the magician. And they invite the heckler up on stage to help us with our next act.
And you lock them in a cage and dunk them in some water forever.
Specially made tall box, and the magician announces that he is going to make the heckler disappear. We put them in the box. We wrap the box up with chains.
Drown them.
And we wheel it off stage. The audience loves it. They laugh, they clap. The heckler's never heard from again.
That is actually excellent.
Works great. And then backstage, I feed the heckler to my alligators.
Yeah.
I don't have alligators.
You wish you did though.
The box only opens one way. I push it up against an exit door, and when the heckler opens it, they can only leave. I've gotten exactly 2 negative Yelp reviews. Worth it.
To be fair, right, that would be an awesome, like, if you did read that review of someone's magic act, and it was like, I was fucking heckling them and they locked us in a box and sent us home, yeah, that would just make you want to go to the show even more. Right. Tell me why society's a failure.
Every aspect of our society has failed. Look at politics. We live in a democracy that is so divided, no matter who gets elected, half of the population is going to be miserable and angry. Families are divided. Lifelong friendships are torn apart. We are so at odds right now that left and right Twix don't even come in the same package anymore.
Okay, right, tell you what. I don't think we're going to get anything else out of her, to be honest. So let's move on to somebody else. Oh, this is the one that just tragedy befalls her all the time. Apparently, she's so unlucky. Right, tell me about yourself, Mallory.
What is there to say? I guess I'm a little bit down on my luck right now between jobs. I had 2 job interviews earlier this week, and I'm hoping to have more soon. I don't like to admit this usually, but it might be important for your book. I'm actually homeless currently. It might surprise you that I actually came from a fairly wealthy family. My dad was some sort of hotshot furniture salesman, and my mom was a cable TV installer. We actually owned our own house. It was
What happened?
double wide. But yeah, I guess I always thought I'd be a big success like my parents, and I guess it's just all right that they're not around anymore so that they don't have to see what my life has turned into. You know, I didn't exactly meet their high expectations.
Now you've got no chance. She's definitely not getting it. She's definitely not getting it right. Well, there's 2 reasons, right? That top she's wearing makes her arms look like they're like more skinny than they should be. It looks wrong. And secondly, like somebody with that mentality of just like, oh well, I was expected to be good at something. Bitch, you don't have to live up to anybody's expectations because other people's expectations are exactly that. Other people's expectations. You do you. So I can't have anybody like that having this hotel. So I already don't like her one bit. She's probably an alright person, but she's got no chance of getting this hotel. So tell me about your parents.
Oh, I've been an orphan almost my entire life. Yeah, my parents died in a fishing accident when I was really little. The only living relative I have is my Uncle Albert, but we don't really talk at
What?
all. He's been in and out of prison my whole life.
So your parents expected you to be a high flyer, but they died when you were little. How would you even know? I don't understand. Okay, so your Uncle Ronnie or whatever he's called is in and out of prison. Well, that's a great role model, that like.
My Uncle Albert? Oh,
Oh, Albert.
he goes back to prison all the time. He's actually serving a life sentence, but he keeps escaping.
Oh, he's got
I
skills.
don't know how he keeps getting out, but the guards catch him and put him right back in. Albert is from the dark side of my family. We didn't like to associate with them very much growing up.
The dark side. That is hilarious. Bitch, your life's so fucked up, it's unreal.
We were always a little bit ashamed to be related to Albert's side of the family, to be honest. I mean, I know that I'm not some great success or anything like that, but at least I'm trying to better myself. Albert's mom was a lawyer, and his dad was a member of Congress for over a decade. It's like they didn't even try to have honest jobs.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say his parents are the most dishonest people going. Right, 2 seconds, lads, because I've actually forgot to set the timer. Oh, that's good. That's worked out well. Right, so... Oh, right, we're ready to go. So, tell me about the fishing accident.
My parents used to take me fishing on the southern coast of Alabama. I don't think we were supposed to be fishing at the spot they found, but there was never anybody around to tell us to leave, so we did it anyway. It was really nice, and almost like a real vacation. Anyway, we didn't have a real boat. We had just 3 of those floating pool chairs that we'd like paddle out and just sit there and fish. It was really relaxing. Anyway, one day my parents caught an undertow and the current pushed them out deep into the ocean. So luckily I managed to get to shore, but it took me a while to find anyone for help. The authorities searched and searched for them, but all they could find were their pool chairs, empty. It was really bad, but I was placed into the foster care system.
How old were you? I want to know how old she actually was when that happened, because I'm thinking that she's one of those, like, evil, set fire to your family while they're in bed type people, you know what I mean? And, like, then they just go into foster care. What was that? I watched it was either a game or a movie that I've recently watched where that exact thing happened, where she set fire to her house with her parents in it and she went into foster care and everyone thought she was the victim, but she's just a fucking psycho.
I wasn't in the foster care system for very long. When I was 9, I was placed with a foster family, but unfortunately,
yeah.
my foster parents died the first night that I was with them. A burglar broke in and murdered them. My foster mom was able to call the police, but by the time they arrived, they were already dead. And the police couldn't find the burglar anywhere. The prosecutor on the case assumed that I had murdered my foster parents and even accused me of killing my
exactly
birth
what
parents.
happened.
So he got the judge to sign off that I was going to be tried as an adult instead of a child, even though I was only 9. Luckily, they did find the real killer, and it turns out he was just really good at hiding, and he was in a crawl space under the house. So, unfortunately, due to this legal loophole that in Alabama, I was now considered legally an adult, so I was out of the foster care system, and I had to find a job, so I worked in a coal mine. It wasn't the work I wanted to be doing, but it paid something. And then when I was 18, I moved out of Alabama.
Yeah, so she definitely could have done it, because she said when her original parents died, she went into foster care and she wasn't in foster care very long. So let's say she was in foster care for a year, right? That means that she was 8 when her original parents died. 8-year-old is definitely old enough to kill your family. I don't know how she did it, but she definitely did it. Then she moved into her new foster parents' house when she was 9, and on that first night, they died. I think I also watched a criminal thing where the daughter, it was an Asian girl. It's actually really good. I'm sure it's on JCS Criminal Psychology. Watch it, it's awesome. She had her boyfriend and her friends. Her boyfriend was a bit of a fucking criminal, right? Kill her parents so she could get the inheritance, and she helped them do it. But she was like saying that it wasn't her and stuff. Yeah, you definitely did it. The tragedy doesn't befall you because you're unlucky. It's because you create the tragedy. You murder everyone. You're not get out of this room with me. I'll be lucky if I survive this. Why are you homeless? Is it because you killed everyone?
I wasn't always homeless. Actually, when I was in Alabama, I had 3,000 square feet to myself. I felt like a wealthy land baron or something. But I didn't have a house on the land, but I did have a really nice tent at first. It was great. I lived there for a full year before I could save up for a house. Well, not a house. I actually bought an 8-foot by 10-foot shed that was fantastic. It was just as good as a house. Had a roof, 4 walls, a window, a door.
It's great.
Everything I needed. I don't know why more people don't just live in sheds.
I agree 100%. Thing is though, wait there, does she own 3,000 square foot of land? Bro, you bought your own shed. Just buy lots of sheds, man, and people fucking love going to camping, glamping, didn't they? Living in sheds. You'd make a fortune. It's a missed business opportunity.
That was the nicest place I ever lived. Unfortunately, 2 weeks after I bought that shed, it was swallowed in a sinkhole. So
nightmare.
There was really nothing left for me in Alabama. I decided to chase my childhood dream and move to Albuquerque.
Is that your dream? Is that what your childhood dream is, moving to Albuquerque? Why?
Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to move to a big city. You know, one of those places that musicians write songs about? A place like Albuquerque. When I finally moved to Albuquerque, it exceeded my expectations. All the glitz, all the glamour, it was incredible. And the best part was the people were really nice. It was great. I'd probably still be there today if it weren't for the puppy incident.
Oh shit, come on then, what happened to the puppy? You killed the puppy. You murdered it horrifically. You ran it over in your car. She probably doesn't have a car. You ran it over on foot.
A little boy had lost his dog, and the entire community banded together to try to find it. Every business had some sort of poster in the window asking for people to find the dog, and I actually came across the dog, but unfortunately it was already dead, so I buried it. And then I wanted to do that thing that they do in TV shows where you replace one dead animal with a new alive animal that looks the same.
Why?
So I went to every pet store in town until I found a dog that looked like the dog that I had buried that had died. I brought it to the little boy's family and they seemed so happy. It was great until about 2 weeks after that when I found out the truth. The little boy and his family weren't looking for a lost pet. Unfortunately, they were looking for a dog that had bitten the little boy. They wanted the dog to see if the dog had rabies. Since I didn't bring the correct dog back, they couldn't test the dog.
And the boy died of rabies.
It turns out the dog that bit the little boy did have rabies. That's why he died. The story doesn't have a happy ending for the little boy, and I couldn't face the townspeople anymore, so I had to move out of Albuquerque.
Listen, this girl is legendary. No, it is like it's funny. It's sad how it's funny that her tragedy is hilarious. And the boy's dead. It's not even the story about the dog. It's a story about the dead boy. Isn't everyone that crosses your path is dead? Shit. The guy who owns the hotel doesn't have long to live. It's probably because of her. Mate, if you just kick her out of your hotel, you'll probably survive. Because what he said, he's got terminal stage 7 cancer or something. I bet you, if she just left, if you paid for her ticket out of the country, your cancer would just regress into nothingness as if you never had it. I guarantee that's what happens.
My first job interview was for a job selling jewelry.
How did that go
I
bad?
didn't have any experience, so they said they couldn't hire me. My second job interview was at an adult video store. They needed
Nice.
someone to clean up those video booths after customers used them.
Yeah.
I also didn't have any experience with this, but I really wanted the job, so I lied and said that I'd been doing it for 15 years already in 3 different cities.
Cleaning jizz off the
I thought
city,
for
what?
sure they were going to hire me, but for some reason they didn't. I guess that was karma telling me that I shouldn't have lied.
How old is she? If she's like in her I think she's probably in her 30s, to be honest. But by the time she had that job interview, she was probably in her early 20s. So she said she'd been doing it for 15 years. So she started cleaning jizz out of fucking adult booths when she was like 5. What the hell? Okay, last question, and we'll move on to someone else.
I didn't have much money saved up, so I had to hop onto a train like they do in the movies. Only it wasn't exactly like how they do it in the movies because there were no big empty cars with those open sides that you could just hop right onto. The best I could find was a small platform that stuck out from the train a couple of inches. I was able to put my feet on that, and then there was a handle that I could cling to. I figured that I could just stay like that for an hour and then I'd be across state lines, but unfortunately, the train picked up a lot of speed and I was stuck clinging onto the train up until Detroit.
Where are we? Oh, we're in Vegas, aren't we?
Well, I hadn't intended on going to Detroit, but since I was there, I decided to make the most out of it. I got a job as the mascot at a children's restaurant. It was kind of a cheap ripoff of Chuck E. Cheese. And I had a costume that wasn't so much a cute mouse as a scary rat. But luckily, the kids didn't seem to mind too much, but I was only there for a little bit anyway. The first time I got my paycheck, I went to the bank and I was still in my rat costume.
And I thought you were going to rob it.
Unfortunately, 2 bank robbers came in, also in costume. So when the police showed up, they assumed that I was with them and arrested me along with them. I was able to sort things out at the police station and I got off, but my picture in costume was already in the newspaper. So my boss didn't like seeing his mascot on the front page of the newspaper for bank robbery, so I got fired.
Why? Mate, if you managed to get your, like, I know people like, oh, about the brand and stuff, but if I had a brand and then my brand's mascot was in a bank robbery, but obviously it wasn't real, bro, I'd just be like, yeah, I would celebrate it, you know what I mean? It would drive more customers. So anyways, what about the Bellflower Hotel? Let's see what she thinks about it.
I used to work at the Bellflower as a professional gambler. That's actually how I met Mr.
A
Davenport.
professional
His
gambler.
security guards thought that I was cheating, actually, so they brought me in for hours and hours of questioning. Thankfully, they looked through the security footage and saw that I was not cheating. They could have just kicked me out, but Mr. Davenport was so kind, and he actually put me in a room for a full week to make up for the trouble that had been caused. This is the nicest hotel I've ever been in.
Is it the only hotel you've ever been in? Yeah, a professional gambler, but you've got no money. So that's... She could just be a bad professional gambler. Where did you get the money to gamble? Aren't you homeless?
Oh,
I suppose she's going to have loads of money if she's homeless because she doesn't have to pay bills.
I actually ended up here in Vegas by accident, but while I was here, I figured I might as well try gambling. It turned out I was extremely bad at it, though, and I actually caught the eye of a wealthy man who asked me to be a professional gambler for him.
Right.
So he would give me money to play craps, and then he would bet on me losing. And we actually made a great team, and he made a ton of money off me. But the casinos started noticing what was happening, and they started kicking us out. Mr. Davenport was the only one who was really nice about it, though.
Oh, okay, so she wasn't a professional gambler at all. She was a professional loser. Yeah, so who was this wealthy man and what happened? Did you actually make any money off it?
Oh, he was a rich person just like you'd see in the movies. I mean, he had a 3-piece suit on with a jacket and a matching vest and everything. His car had a hood ornament on it, and he even had brown socks to match his brown shoes.
Oh, very high class. Brown socks.
I wouldn't know what to do with that kind of money. I think the first thing I might do would be to buy a monocle, though.
Oh, yeah. Poor, you're selling this to me, aren't you? So we give her a hotel, she's going to buy a monocle. She look like fucking Mr. Monopoly.
I've wanted a monocle my whole life.
What the fuck?
I've had really bad vision in one of my eyes since I was a little girl. This one time I found a pair of glasses that had a missing lens, but the lens it did have was very close to my vision needs. So I had that. It was perfect. Almost perfect. The lens was on the wrong side, so I did have to wear them upside down. Eventually, I tried to take the lens out and put it in the correct side, but when I did, the lens cracked and I couldn't wear them anymore.
Bruh. How are you so bad at life? Okay, right. We get that she's she's got no chance. Right. Let's speak to her. Sarah Goodley. I already don't like your family. Already don't like you. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Alice Goodley.
I'm Walter, and this is Sarah.
It's so nice to meet you.
We're from Utah.
Yeah, they're so insincere. Do you know what it is? Like, I've met people like this before, and they act like this, and it's such a it's a show, it's a persona. It's look at the if you look into them, he's dead. His soul's been completely crushed because he's felt forced to put on this goody two shoes persona for the whole life, and it's just caving him in, black hole from the inside. And these two are getting there slowly but surely. Look at that fake smile. I hate everything. Right, Utah.
We are very lucky to live there. Our neighborhood is just dandy. But then again, I guess everybody says that about their hometowns.
We have friendly neighbors,
No.
a brand new school, and the best darn volunteer fire department you could ask for.
Well, it's not perfect, though. Crime has been on the rise lately.
Oh, that's true. Last Halloween, 2 houses got toilet papered.
Yeah, a bunch of us pitched in, and we got those houses cleaned up by noon. Still, it was kind of disappointing to know that something like that could happen only a few blocks away.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Cleaning up all that toilet paper was really fun, though.
That's our Sarah, always looking on the bright side of any situation.
Oh, that's great. So you don't mind cleaning up shitty toilets when I absolutely curry spray it all out of the shop. Oh, it was really fun cleaning the curry shit off the toilet. Nah, I couldn't even deal with these people.
Being on the volunteer fire department is considered a huge honor in our
Watch him.
There are too many volunteers.
Whenever he's not talking,
so many
watch him.
Very competitive.
Well, the exception is on Thanksgiving. During the parade, they make everyone in town an honorary member. It's a nice gesture, and everyone gets very excited about it.
We go all out for Thanksgiving.
We go all out for all holidays in general. You should visit on Independence Day. We have a top-notch fireworks show every year.
Oh, and don't forget about the Easter egg hunt. That's my favorite.
I thought you said cleaning toilet paper off the fucking house was your favourite thing to do ever. But I love this guy. This guy's like the devil. Bruh.
You'd think the hunt was just about the kids, but it's just as much fun for us grown-ups, too. The night before the hunt, all the adults get together and spend a few hours hiding the eggs. The next day, all the kids spend a few hours looking for them. It's like the adults get to play, too.
Sarah takes hiding Easter eggs very seriously. Some of the places she finds to hide them are downright diabolical.
Well, I remember what it was like hunting for eggs as a kid. The best feeling was when you'd find an egg in a hard-to-find spot.
Like on a
If
roof.
someone doesn't hide them in places like that, then the kids won't get a chance to feel like that.
In a bear trap.
Sarah never does anything without giving it her best effort. You should hear her music lessons.
No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, she hides Easter eggs. See, all these families are fucking messed up. She hides Easter eggs in bear traps. Up trees. In killer hornet nests. That's where she hides them so the kids die. Oh, then again, the kids don't die because the biggest tragedy they've had is someone toilet paper in the fucking house. Okay, music lessons. I hate music.
Sarah's learning to play the piano.
Oh,
I'm not
nothing
that
worse.
good, but I'm trying really hard to get better.
Well, at the rate she's improving, though, she might be a famous musician by this time next year.
She's exaggerating. I wouldn't want to be famous anyway. Piano for me is just like a hobby, like your knitting or daddy's gardening.
There's actually only 4, like, you don't make music unless you make it with one of 4 instruments. Guitar, bass guitar, drums, and what's them little shaker things with it's like a semicircle that you hold, and it's got loads of little cymbals on it. Oh, actually, there's 5 musical instruments. Maracas. Maracas are fucking awesome. If a song isn't made with that, it's not real music. Although I will probably let a donk machine. Now, when you put a donk on it, donk 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 donk. If you put a donk on it, that's always good as well. Oh shit, what's happened? Oh, there. I thought my mouse wasn't working there. Right. So you don't want to be famous.
When people get famous, they move to a big city so they can make lots of money. Once they've made all that money, they move to the place they really want to live. I already live in the best place I can imagine, so why would I leave in the first place?
So that's why you don't want to be famous. I suppose nobody really wants to be famous. Well, I think some people do want to be famous, but they realise that's not what they actually want. Like, you want the money that comes with not being famous, because I can't think of anything worse than everybody recognising, you know what I mean? That'd be fucking hideous. Right. Gardening.
I like to make sure my family's eating at least some natural organic food.
Everything is so processed these days, and you can really taste the difference when you eat fresh vegetables.
Can you
from the
though?
garden.
Can you
Daddy
though?
works really hard on his garden.
The only
I
difference with
appreciate
fresh
the work.
vegetables is
I
that taste
enjoy
of
it.
soil.
Plus, it gives me a chance to spend time outside.
Adults are weird. They can do anything they want, but if they want to, I don't know, play in the yard, they won't do it unless they find an excuse.
I love Sarah's outlook on life.
Oh, I hate it. Play in the yard, what? I don't understand. But what did she say there? Adults only play outside if they've got something to do. Well, yeah. If you haven't got something to do, why are you going to be outside? Just to enjoy the outside. To be fair, it is nice to go and just enjoy the outside. But I'm not one for that. If I go out, it has to be for a reason. If I want to go and climb a mountain, I'm going to go and climb a mountain. If I want to go in the garden, I've got to be doing something in the garden. Or if you can sunbathe if the weather's nice enough. But just to play around, run about in fucking circles like a kid, I don't think so, like. You're sorry, Todd.
I do crocheting and knitting. I make clothes and blankets that I donate to local homeless shelters.
You know, we used to just donate money, but there are just too many people in need. There's
What?
never enough money to go around, and winters get very cold in Utah.
And since we're able to buy fabric in bulk, we're able to donate 5 or 6 times as many supplies as we could otherwise.
The hats she makes are really nice too. They're so much more comfortable than anything you can buy at a store.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
I suppose that there is a benefit of doing that, but my counterpoint to that would be, how much of your time does it take for you to make 5 or 6 times as many blankets and donate to the store when you could just buy them and donate them instantly. Do you know what I mean? Because her time's got to be worth something, hasn't it? Oh, so what I'm actually doing is I'm not using this with a mouse and keyboard, I'm using this with a controller, like a PlayStation 4 controller, so I'm using the touchpad to move the mouse. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, so, like, how much is your time worth? But then again, if she makes better quality than what she can buy, then fair enough. Fair enough, I'll let you off with that one.
We love this hotel. We come here every year on vacation.
We take a lot of family vacations together. The only thing better than seeing the world is seeing the world together.
This is my favorite vacation we take. I love coming here to Vegas.
That is true. It's all she talks about for months leading up to the trip.
I do get pretty excited about our vacation time.
You go on many family vacations. But by the sounds of it, her whole life is a family vacation because she just loves her family so much.
I take 2 weeks vacation from my dental practice each year so we can go on a family trip.
It's safe to say our Las Vegas trips are our favorite. This is our 3rd year in a row coming here.
Next year, I'll be old enough to go to the casino floor.
Sarah won't be 21 until next month.
I actually recognise her. I think she is like a proper actress, and I'm sure she's been in something where she's like evil. So he's a dentist, is he? Yeah, dentist that look like he's definitely killed people.
My father and grandfather were both dentists. All the men in my family were. Well, except for my brother Stephen. It's a family tradition.
Stephen is quite the rebel.
Yeah, they didn't like the mention of Stephen.
He's a pediatrician in Salt Lake City. That's clear across the state from us.
He only comes to visit a few times a year, usually on holidays.
We do drive up to Salt Lake City once in a while. My friend Linda lives there too, so we get to visit her and Stephen in one trip.
Yeah, the mention of Stephen caused their like noses to scrunch up as if they've just smelt a proper disgusting fart. Like, what did Stephen do? Stephen left the family, didn't he? Stephen left the family cell and they resent him for it. But Stephen got the fuck out as soon as he could. I don't blame him. Stephen, you did the right thing.
Our trips to Salt Lake City are one of the few things we have trouble agreeing on. There's just so much to do, and everybody wants to do something different.
I like to go to the zoo, Sarah likes the planetarium, and Walter likes the Natural History Museum.
We started playing a board game right before our trip. The winner gets to pick where we go.
Sarah usually wins, but she's very gracious when she does. Last time she won, she picked the zoo to make Alice happy.
I won twice in a row. I would have felt selfish if I picked the planetarium both times. Plus, we hadn't gone to the zoo in forever. It wouldn't have been fair.
Isn't she just the best?
It's hideous. Who's Linda again? Is that a sister?
Linda was my
best friend
back in high school. She was a bit of a troublemaker back then. To be honest, I was a bit of a rascal.
You little rascal.
It's true. Alice and Linda were big mischief makers. Now, it may seem hard to believe now, but Alice was quite the prankster in her teenage years.
How come I've never heard about this before?
Well, I am not very proud of some of the things I did, so I don't talk about them much.
Tell me
Yeah.
about one of them. Please.
She was a stripper.
Okay.
I bet she was.
Every April Fool's Day, Linda and I would send someone a pizza they didn't order as a prank. We paid cash, so it couldn't be traced back to us. And we'd also tip the drivers so they wouldn't get stiffed in the gratuity.
I
What?
hope none of those people were trying to lose weight. That could knock someone off their diet.
What
We
the
were
fuck?
young and reckless. We didn't think about the consequences back then.
I certainly got into my fair share of trouble when I was younger.
No, he didn't. So what? So they paid in cash for a pizza to get delivered somewhere else as a prank on someone else. Bitch, I think that's how you do it. I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it, mate. Like, you're supposed to ring it to a place without paying money. Okay, let's not get into that. Wow. So, on Sarah, tell me about your shared trouble.
I've caused as much trouble as anyone. I was once suspended from school for smoking.
Oh, you
Another
dirty
time
bitch.
I got detention for a whole week for cutting class. I'm no angel.
Yeah, you're like the devil personified.
I was walking to my next class when a kid I didn't know dropped a pack of cigarettes. I instinctively picked them up for him, but just as I did, a teacher happened to see me holding them and sent me to the principal's office. I couldn't say they weren't mine without telling on the other kids, so I got suspended.
It worked out for the best. The kid eventually felt bad that Sarah was taking the blame for him and told the principal what really happened. Then he later became Sarah's first boyfriend.
Yeah. Is he still your boyfriend?
It's not what it sounds like. A couple of girls at school were playing a prank on this kid, Tommy. He was really unpopular. They pretended he had a secret admirer and started passing him all these fake notes. They were just building up his hopes to crush them. Eventually, so many kids got in on the prank that nobody even knew where it started. I didn't want to see him get hurt, so I pretended I was the admirer and we dated for 2 months.
That's so
He turned
bad.
out to be a nice guy, but I was only 17 at the time and nowhere near ready for a boyfriend yet.
You just pitied him. You just did it for pity. That's terrible. That's actually a crime. That is a crime.
I skipped study hall and snuck into the school gym. The principal caught me and I got a week's detention. It's really not a very interesting story.
Well, that's not the whole story, is it? You didn't mention why you went to the gym.
I was helping to set up a surprise party for the principal. His 25th anniversary at our school was coming up, so we had to do something for him. My study hall teacher knew and gave me permission to skip class, but I couldn't say that without ruining the surprise party. Still feel bad about lying to the principal.
Now, honey, lying is sometimes okay when it's to help the person you're lying to, like when we got you your glasses.
I know, Daddy, but it still feels wrong.
What happens with the glasses? Yeah, I need to know about the glasses. How can they do that? What did they buy her some glasses and told her she looked good when she looked like a mess? I bet you that's what happened.
Sarah used to babysit a little girl named Emily. She really looked up to Sarah. She always said she wanted to be just like her when she grew up.
One day, Emily had to get glasses, and she looked really cute, but she hated how they looked. She was super self-conscious about it, and she couldn't even stand to go to school anymore.
That's when Sarah came to me and asked if I could get her vision checked. She figured if she wore glasses too, then Emily wouldn't feel so bad about them anymore.
Daddy took me to get tested, but unfortunately my vision was 20/20.
Of course it was.
I've never seen somebody so disappointed to have good vision.
Why don't you just stab yourself in the eye then?
Pair of fake glasses.
Take a cheese grater to your
I
eyes.
started wearing them whenever I was around Emily, and it worked like a charm. She started liking her own glasses almost immediately.
Nah. If you were truly a good Samaritan, you would have removed one of your eyes, one eye patch, and the other eye you would have just smeared it with acid, so you'd lost your 20/20 vision, and then wore just a monocle on your eye to make the kid feel better. What you did there was selfish. So, I don't even know what this was relating to, some other conversation we had before, so what does stiff mean?
One thing you should never do is stiff a service worker.
What does that mean?
Tips are most of their income.
I'm ashamed to admit I am guilty of that myself. There
I don't
was a
tip.
time where I didn't know you were supposed to tip housekeepers when you stayed at a hotel. I'd been traveling for years before I realized it. I have no idea how many housekeepers I stiffed without realizing it.
I bet you did.
Sure when they're supposed
This
to tip,
guy.
they aren't. It's a big problem.
Well, I don't use a smartphone myself, but I hear one of the big problems these days is people don't know they're supposed to tip app workers.
I thought everyone knew that one.
Oh shit, what? This guy definitely stiffs hotel workers, just not in the way that he sees, that they think. Yeah, I think because tipping in the UK is not like a thing. I think in America it is more so because the wages are dog shit. So it depends where you are really. Right, this guy doesn't use smartphones. He probably does, but he keeps that away from these two because he's blatantly dogging other women on the side.
We're a flip phone family.
I
What?
love flip phones. They're inexpensive, the battery lasts a full week, and they don't break when you drop them.
True.
I like knowing Sarah has plenty of charge on her phone in case she needs a ride.
Well, you know, if I had a smartphone, I wouldn't have to bother you or Daddy when I need a ride. I could just use an app.
She's talking about
You can just ring a taxi, mate.
services. I just don't understand those. I mean, when I was growing up, we were taught never to talk to strangers on the internet and not to get into a car with a stranger. But now there's an app that literally lets you summon a stranger on the internet so you can get in their car. I don't understand why they're so popular.
I'm sure there's plenty of useful apps on those things, but everybody that I know that has a smartphone, they just text each other. I prefer having to call someone. It's more of a social interaction for me.
Bro, you can still text on a flip phone. Like, from day dot on a fucking phone. Even the massive ones with the crappy green and black displays. You could text off them. Even if you could only see like 3 characters at a time. So, I don't... Lads, he's a lying. He's a bunch of liars. Right, we're not speaking to these anymore. I'm sick of them. Becca and Todd. This guy's a prick. She's fucking weird as well, right? Okay, this guy's high as fuck. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Becca.
And I am Todd.
We're from New York City.
This is a Bonnie and Clyde. These are on a killing spree across the country.
Oh, I mean, I love New York. We have the best sports teams, the best nightclubs, the best restaurants. It's such an incredible place to live.
Even if I didn't have to live there for work, I don't think I could ever move.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many things you can only get in New York you can't get anywhere else. You should really visit if you haven't been before.
There's this brony convention Todd goes to every year. I
What?
mean, even if we moved, he'd have to go back every year.
Bruh.
No way he could miss it. It's all he talks about for a month leading up to it.
No, I think I'm ashamed to say I know what that is. Is that the little horses things?
It's a convention for My Little Pony fans.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds.
It is. That's terrible, mate.
Lots of adults go.
They don't.
Actually, it's almost entirely adults who go. Yeah, I think the TV show is super sweet, but I've only been with Todd once. They don't really like girls going. I think it kind of messes with the whole bro part of brony.
No, that's a red flag. That's not just a red flag. That's a fucking glowing, luminous, radioactive red flag. Fuck that, brony. Your boyfriend got us to celebrate ponies, mate. What the hell? I can't think of anything that would get a pussy as dry as the Sahara than someone liking bronies.
This is where Todd said we had to stay when we came to Vegas.
Yeah, we're in town for our wedding.
We actually ran into the owner of the hotel while we were checking in, and he overheard us saying we were getting married, so he upgraded us to a big suite, which was such a nice surprise.
And he was even more surprised when he asked if we wanted to be interviewed for your book. I mean, this is certainly turning out to be a memorable trip.
I would hope it'd already be memorable, but with our wedding and all.
Oh, of course. That was a poor choice of words on my part.
This guy. Why are you getting married? Is it? Are you being forced? I think she's being forced into marriage, to be honest. I don't think this is true.
I wanted to get married in a church back home, but Becca wanted to do something original. Isn't that right, dear?
Yeah, we also couldn't afford a big wedding. You know, Todd's work has been a little slow lately.
Well, I'm an actor, and all actors have dry spells. Just part of the industry. Plus, Becca has a lot of debt, so we probably shouldn't be spending too much money right now.
Right now, he's actually playing Elmo in Times Square. He takes his picture with tourists all day. He's so cute in the costume.
Yeah, I'm not Elmo.
Okay. Legally, he is a generic red creature, but we all know who he's supposed to be.
You get to tickle him. Yeah, lad, that was a massive thing before. Tickle me Elmo. I remember the advert was like on all the time. What happened to that? It's probably not political correct to go around tickling people, so it probably got took off market. Right. Yeah, debt. Why are you in debt and how much for?
Yeah, I took out a lot of student loans. I would have been more than happy going to an affordable law school, but Daddy insisted I go to Harvard if I wanted to work at the family firm. So I will probably be paying that off for years. I don't know why Todd puts up with me and all my baggage.
Don't.
Well, I suppose you put up with his broniness, so I think debt's worse. To be honest, being in that amount of debt is a lot worse than being a brony. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to call it out now. So you're an actor, are you?
I think street performer is more of an appropriate term. He's never done any sort of stage.
She's downplaying his
Well,
skills.
I do have some exciting things lined up, actually. I'm going to be in an upcoming film in New York.
It's a role in an unpaid student film, but it's a great start.
It's a very promising student film. It's going to be seen by a lot of people, and the exposure is worth more than the money, believe me.
It's a film about campus safety. They say that new students are going to see it for years to come. I just wish Todd had booked a speaking part. He has the talent.
Oh, well, thank you, dear. Thank you.
Oof. I can tell this relationship's not going to work right because this guy's this guy's only living the dream in his head. So tell me about your family firm, law firm.
Kennedy, Seymour, and Cartwright. Michael Kennedy's my father. Barbara Cartwright is my mother. It's not the biggest firm in New York, but we do all right.
Okay. Can I ask, why are you actually with him? We all know why he's with you. Because he's punching well above his weight there. Barbara Cartwright?
My parents didn't get married until years after they'd already been legal partners. At that point, my mom had already a long list of clients, a really great reputation, so that's why she kept her own last name.
Yeah, plus
Makes
they wanted
sense.
to change the name of the law firm. I mean, they had to print new business cards, order new signs. It would have been a big hassle, right?
That's why I'm keeping my last name. So if everything goes according to plan right before my dad retires, I will get made partner at the firm. That way there will still be a Kennedy in the name. Also, Becca Boner just doesn't really have a great ring to it.
Yeah. This guy's second name, Boner. That is manly as fuck. So, Michael Kennedy.
My father doesn't really like Todd.
Oh,
I wonder
maybe
why.
First, but I think we get along better now.
Todd really wants to impress my dad. That's actually part of the reason why we're having this budget wedding. I'm sure Daddy would have paid for a big wedding if I asked, but Todd wants to prove to him that we're self-sufficient.
And we are.
Oh, again, all this fucking proof shit. Like now when people get in a relationship and he's like, oh yes, I want to prove myself to her dad. Mate, I couldn't give a fuck about your dad. I couldn't give a fuck about that. It's the relationships between these two people and no one else around it. Everything else is a bonus, you know what I mean? And if her dad doesn't like him, then her dad's doing a disservice to his daughter by not trusting his daughter's what's the word I'm looking for? Judgment. Doesn't trust his daughter's judgment, but then again, his daughter might have poor judgment, so then you can understand why. But you have to let people go off and make their own mistakes, and just to be an arsehole to this guy just because he's a fucking brony is a bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get me wrong, if my daughter was going out with a guy that loved bronies, I'd be like, yeah, this guy's fucking weird, like. But I'd still be like okay with him, you know what I mean? If he's an alright bloke. Right. What's the student film about?
Oh, I'm
Well,
not.
we already know what it's
I just
about.
responded to an ad on the internet.
He actually dropped out of high school.
I wanted to focus on my career. Yeah, I was actually working for a cell phone company at the time, and it was a great job. I was making good money, and I wanted to move up, but they downsized, and a lot of us lost our jobs.
They laid off all the sign spinners at once, which was such a shame because Todd was so talented at it.
Oh, thank
We
you.
actually met when he was sign spinning on the corner at my apartment. He caught my eye right away.
Bless her. I think she does actually really like him, even though like he's just got like shit jobs. But now, as you can't judge someone just because they've got shit jobs. Like, as long as you're bringing in the money, as long as you can afford how you live, then fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll ask a few last. What happens? Can we go? I think you've got to actually go. I think you've got to actually get to every single bit of dialogue to be able to like do anything with him. But tell you what we'll do. I want to call it an episode here. When we come back, we'll continue questioning these, and then we'll just go through everyone and we'll ask all the questions, because it seems like we have to do that. Like, there's not actually a choice in this, or we haven't been given a choice yet. I hope we do get a few choices, like if we have to eliminate one and then keep speaking about other people. I don't know how it's going to go, but I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you in the next one, lads.